girls is one of the more interesting things to come out of the weekend. I fully believe that we had a tournament. And I even wish from a marketing standpoint, we would have called it a tournament. I think you guys like that. I think you'd find it a treat. Other organizations have done it. They put millions of dollars into it, call it a Grand Prix, have a beautiful belt. But ultimately, whatever the word is, it's a tournament. You have some kind of a bracket. And it is going to play out. It is going to unfold however it plays out and however it unfolds. And where I think that would be helpful is particularly if we are going to go Juliana Pena and draw in to Kayla Harrison. There's very good, meaningful reason to do that fight. First and foremost, your goal of finding out who the best in the world is. And you would take these two people, and that's one thing about tournaments, is there's many ways to advance. Of course, the intended method is that the player who's better or team who's better to be represented one way, who has more points when time runs out, that team will advance. But it's not the way it always works. The Olympics, which just happened, the NCAA, which I follow very closely, there's something known as injuries. There's something known as disqualifications. There's a number of ways, but when you follow a straight line bracket, the advancement is the advancement. And whoever gets there, however they get there, and I bring that to you because I like that idea. I believe it's what we saw. And if that is, in fact, what we have, we don't have anything to talk about. We have Juliana Pena versus Kayla Harrison. But while I tell you that I wish that Dana would have called it a bracket, a tournament, I wish that we would have guaranteed it and committed to that. As much as I wish that, we didn't. That is not the situation we're in. And we're not in that situation. And we did not call it a tournament, or rather not call it a tournament for any other reason than we do not want bound to the athletes who advanced based upon the advancement alone. Okay? Sometimes, I gotta tell you, that was almost poetry what I just put out. I don't think there's 10 people that you could find that could put that out. I took you to a few different dimensions, and I will just share with you. It's exactly what I meant. Each word. And I base that because we have Juliana Pena, who has offered an opinion. And the opinion that she has offered is that her next opponent should be Amanda Nunes. Now, while you may say you love that and you may say that will never happen, if you say that will never happen, I guarantee that it's because Amanda's not here. She's not in the pool. She's not signed to the company. She can't make 135 pounds. She retired from the sport. It's something along those lines. But if all of those were taken away by Amanda accepting, well, then we're probably going to do Pena versus Amanda, right? I mean, that would very much change your opinion on what's going to be next. If you knew and Amanda came out publicly and said, I accept, see you in March, I believe that you would put your swords down and go, okay, well then I'm not going to stick with that whole tournament business and the Kayla Harrison, and you're probably going to go in that direction. The UFC would, of course, be able to go into that direction. It is the specific reason that they left the door open for themselves, not just for that direction, for the ability to go in a different. So, okay. But hear me out, because while I think we likely have nothing to talk about, and I do think we are likely going Kayla versus Pena, the fight, if you were a chess player, that you would be keeping and preserving options to have come to fruition, is the return of Amanda, but you would only use her in one capacity, and that would be against Kayla. Now, that would only happen if a world championship was on the line. So to get yourself to an environment where that could even happen, and by the way, that is not blockbuster numbers. It's very specific. That would be blockbuster numbers for the women's division of 135 pounds. Like, that is not guaranteed to be a pay-per-view main event, though I believe that it would. There would be some risk and there would be some hard work that needed to be put in, but I believe that it would work. I believe that you would really have something there if those gals, teammates, coaches, anybody we could get to participate, but that was there, that saw those workouts, that know what caused the breakup of the gym and the separation. Amanda did not leave the sport because of Kayla Harrison or she couldn't fight her. It wasn't even an option. Kayla was never coming down, at the time that Amanda left, was never coming down to 135 pounds. Not to mention she wasn't in the organization. But before you even get to that, and I only share that because let's not rewrite the story. And let's not act as though Amanda left because. Amanda left because she had done everything that you could possibly do twice, right? She was doing it a second time. So it does change things. And Amanda is a competitor. And now you do have a new toy to play with should you want to come home. But when we're having the discussion of what's next, I think it would be responsible for us all, right? Because if we're just coming from a competitive nature or we're looking at the rankings or something like that, you lose. You don't get Kayla. You get Raquel. If you're going to just pay attention to merit and who's done what, you don't get Kayla versus Pena next. You get Raquel in a rematch. And from the world of promotion, there is nothing on Pena versus Pennington in a rematch. But guys, there was nothing on it 3 days ago, and we saw it. So we're not in a vastly different situation. If we're just going to go off of the merits, Pennington must be considered. That's what I'm offering for you. Pennington should be the champion of the world right now. That's what I'm offering for you. And I'm being critical of Juliana, but I'm attempting to show my unbiasedness. I have not met Raquel. I am personal friends with Juliana. Believe me, she will see this and I will hear from Juliana. Juliana is more likely than not to be a guest on this show later in the week, yelling at me and saying, what are you doing? But I don't mean it from that perspective. I'm talking about, look, if I want to be critical and say that's the worst performance I've seen you have, oh, but by the way, you captured a second world at championship. It's not really an insult here. But if we are going to be sportsmen, we can't leave Raquel out. We just can't. And Kayla, who has done everything right, did not just set the world on fire. That's not what we saw either. As a matter of fact, if we're being real honest with each other, and we know that there is a third option no matter how distant, our ultimate crossing the finger hope is that Amanda does, in fact, accept the challenge and return. And she's not just being challenged by one person right now. She's being challenged by two. She's being challenged by both Kayla and the sitting champion of the world. The difference is Kayla doesn't have anything to offer Amanda. The sitting champion of the world does. Because of all those reasons, I think we did have a tournament. I think that we get Kayla, we get Pena together. I think that is the only way that you get the Lioness back, and I know you're not just scratching at your doors begging to get that, but on that topic and situation, I think that's the way that we would do it. Either way, the women at a minimum deserve their story to be told accurately, which is their division and weight class has never been discussed or never had the contention. It has never been as competitive as it is right now.